Hello YouTube, it's been a while. Not quite as long a while if you're one of my friends who follow my videos on Facebook. Confused? I sure as heck was. Basically, my last video did not get uploaded to YouTube, it only got uploaded to Facebook. The reasons for that are the point of this video. Now, I should say that this video will probably contain strong language and scenes of a sexual nature. Okay, I made that second bit up, but the first one is probably accurate. I don't know yet because I film the videos before I edit them, because it would be kind of weird to do it the other way around. So I don't know what will make the final cut, but I do know that I am about to go off on one at Google. And that's a shame, because there's a lot of things that I would quite like to be making a video about right now. Labour are trying to find some leadership, FIFA are finally getting held to account for all that corruption. The Scotland bill is getting kicked around Westminster like a beach ball in summer. Although, to be fair, I am Scottish, so I'm not entirely sure what summer is. It seems to be a random sequence of days between April and September where people that do not have any body image insecurities choose to expose the non-essential parts of their anatomy. Is it that? And like I say, I could be doing videos on that, but I'm not, because I have to vent my spleen about Google. But first, I would like to take you back in time. Oh, okay, not that far back in time. Yeah, close enough. Remember that. Remember when the internet was all new and exciting and all this information was suddenly online, but we didn't know how to navigate it that well. So this website called Ask Jeeves sprung up and said, hey, we're a search engine, we'll find what you're looking for. And everybody liked that because it was kind of quaint. It was like having your own internet butler, and he would go and find the information in the web pages you wanted, and that was working away for quite some time until this other website sprung up, and it was all colourful and aesthetic, and it could produce millions of results in 0.12 of a second, and it liked to boast about how fast it could do it. And I'm talking, of course, about Google. And pretty soon Google became the world's #1 search engine. The phrase "look it up" got gradually replaced with the phrase "Google it," and that really should have been our first clue that Google was trying to take over the earth. Unsurprisingly, Jeeves took a hissy fit and degenerated into some kind of unnecessary toolbar with a lot of annoying add-ons that keep re-enabling themselves that have been trying to chase out my parents' computer ever since. And nowadays, of course, the only time I see an Ask web search page is when I've accidentally typed in the wrong address into the browser. Now, back in the day, everybody was using Internet Explorer because it was really the only web browser out there, and it was alright if you didn't mind waiting a minute for a web page to load, or you didn't have to code the web pages in the first place, or you weren't that bothered about your security. So when Mozilla came along and said, hey, we've created a new web browser called Firefox, why don't you try it out? Everybody liked it just because it wasn't Internet Explorer. Nowadays, of course, Google has got in on the act, and they've launched their own web browser called Google Chrome. And to be fair to them, it's alright. It obviously links in its Google search engine and links in a few other things, but it's all pretty much seamless and the web loading is fast. I mean, what takes a day to load on Internet Explorer might just take a second on Google Chrome, and it all works pretty well, and that is why I use Google Chrome. Now, if you think Google might be paying me to say that, you are mistaken, as you're about to find out in the rest of this video, because that is where my happiness with Google ends. You see, just over 10 years ago now, a website sprung up called YouTube. And it was a video sharing site, and before long people got the word out and people were uploading their own home videos to it, or just random clips of trying to eat soup. I kid you not. Oh, come on, that's ridiculous. I'm sure there's nothing wrong with Jennifer's soup.
Right. Well, so you did put in the asterisks after all.
And it took off from there. People started doing daily vlogs, and the best ones generated a lot of interest, and the same went for gaming channels or comedy channels or whatever, and people would subscribe to the best ones in their hundreds and their thousands and eventually in their millions, and all the content creators started networking, and before long a nice little community was getting set up. Now I say little community, it was of course worldwide. So Google took a look at this and said, hey, there's money making potential in this, and they decided to buy YouTube. That's an interesting phrase because they didn't actually spend any money, they just gave the creators of YouTube shares in Google. And now, as if it wasn't before, YouTube was suddenly all about profit, and it was owned by a search engine. Google Chrome was okay, it wasn't too far a departure from the search engine roots, but a video sharing site is a completely different ballgame, and it soon showed. Now YouTube has this partnership program, which is a means for the best YouTube content creators to make money. What happens is that advertisers pay Google to be allowed to advertise on YouTube, and this takes the form of adverts either before the video plays or sometimes as a banner during the video. There are a few different ways it can manifest, and the YouTubers themselves get a portion of this handed down to them through Google. Now, no rational person objects to this. We have been viewing the content creators' videos for years, some of us, and it's always been completely free of charge to us. So surely nobody objects to the YouTubers making money, because this does take a lot of their time and effort and money. It is a full-time job. Of course they should get paid for it. And I don't even object to Google making large amounts of profits off of this system, and they do. After all, they are the ones providing the platform, they are the ones negotiating with the advertisers. Of course they should get paid for it, and of course it should be profitable. That is not my issue. My issue is that Google is making so much money where some of the YouTubers are struggling to make ends meet. There is a problem with the system somewhere. Now, I'm not talking about your PewDiePies, your Dan and Phils, your Smoshes. They are absolutely fine. But there are YouTubers out there, plenty of them, that are trying to earn a living through YouTube and struggling to make ends meet. Now, it is a contractual obligation for YouTubers that they are not allowed to say how much money they make. Now, this in itself is not a problem. There's a lot of sense in that rule. But what it does lead to is certain individuals going onto other sites and suggesting, estimating how much the YouTubers make by doing their own calculations that have maybe just been pulled out of their rear end for all we know. Now, the YouTubers are of course not allowed to say if these estimates are correct, but they are certainly allowed to tell us that the estimates are wrong. And what is said consistently from the YouTubers is that these estimates are more than what they are actually earning. Now, for the biggest YouTubers that's not a problem. The estimates could be off by thousands of pounds and they would still be very well off. But we don't know what the ones smaller down the pecking order are making, and it's probably not enough. But we know that Google is making enough. And that's interesting when you consider how it breaks down. So many pence is paid to a YouTuber, fraction of pennies sometimes, for the click-through rate for people clicking on adverts. And let's be honest, we don't always click on the adverts, do we? And then eventually they get a sum of money, and then 50% of that goes in tax. Now, okay, I don't object to that if the YouTuber in question is making over £50,000 a year, but most of them are not. And YouTubers are having to give all that money away in tax. You can bet your bottom dollar that Google is not paying that much in tax. They're running most of it through Bermuda. This is very well known. You just have to Google it. And I can guarantee you they are not giving the YouTubers the biggest slice of the cake in the first place, yet it's the YouTube content creators that are putting their time and effort into making the videos that the adverts are going on to. That is why people are there, that is why people are seeing the adverts, but Google is by far taking most of the money for that. And it's not just financial where the system is broken. Google are not listening to YouTube content creators and generally YouTube users when it comes to some of the features in the site. One of the first things they did was to remove video responses, probably because they felt it was too much work for them to maintain. But that was a major factor in how the community worked and functioned. Because if you viewed a video, you could film your own video response to it, and people filming your video would know exactly what you were talking about and where the conversation had come from and how it was all knitting together. But YouTube didn't care about that, or Google didn't care about that. They didn't care about the community. And that upset a lot of people. And nowadays there are other issues like the subscriptions. You can't always guarantee that a video that you subscribe to or a channel that you subscribe to is actually going to show up when a new video comes out, because that's broken. Now, Google will give their reasons. For example, the video responses. They said that only a small percentage of people were actually making video responses, but that isn't taking into account every issue. That's not taking into account that a lot of people that have YouTube accounts only do it so that they can actually follow videos rather than upload them. And of course, if you don't have a YouTube or Google ID, you can't leave comments on the videos in the first place. So if you want to put feedback, you have to be part of the system, which is another thing that YouTubers don't like. And it leads to asking the question, exactly how do Google come to these decisions? Wouldn't you just like to know how that works? Okay, gentlemen, you know why we're here. Head office has assigned us to brainstorm some profit-making schemes. Currently, we are only making just over £1 billion sterling UK per month in profit. We really need to increase that. So come on, let's hear your suggestions. Remember, there are no bad ideas here, just possible solutions. You, what do you have? Okay, well, you know how you have a holiday home in Bermuda? Yeah. Well, we can run our tax through there and literally hide billions of dollars there that we legally don't have to pay that we would otherwise be paying in tax. Excellent, number two. I love it. You. What do you have? Okay, well, you know how YouTube content creators are able to make money by dealing directly with advertisers who pay them to promote their products in their videos? Go on. Well, what if we were to ban that and say that it all had to come through us and we take a large chunk of the revenue for that, and that way we are literally making billions of pounds for doing absolutely no work? Brilliant! That is a great idea. Number four, intern, first day on the job. What do you have? You know how Google Plus is all interconnected with multiple profiles and linking Google and YouTube, and that might not always come out right, and there can be coding errors or other types of faults, and it could just drive people round the bend. How about we create a technical support department that's contactable by phone or email easily, just so that users can resolve those issues with a minimum of fuss and thus increase productivity. Okay, I'm going to level with you. I'm not loving that. Guys, help him out. Help him out. Any ideas to just improve this a wee bit? Well, instead of a technical support department, why don't we just open a forum so that the YouTube content creators can help each other and we don't have to bother with them? That's better, I like it. You see, number 4, how we took your idea and made it into something. There are no bad ideas. Has anybody else got anything? Come on, come on. Well, we could get rid of video responses. That will help restrict new talent being spotted and coming through so easily. Yeah, and actually building on that, what we could do is mess with the sub-feed algorithm so that it doesn't just necessarily show people the videos of the creators they've subscribed to. It rather pushes the traffic in the direction of the videos that we make money on. That is genius! The best part is the content creators won't even realise that we have messed with the algorithm. They'll just assume it's broken because the profit making in it is way too deep for them to see. That is great. Oh, I know. Why don't we do something about the upload times? Because it can take a user about 6 days to upload a video depending on the format and upload speed that we happen to be giving them at the time. Okay, look, sorry, what's your name? Ali. Oh, that's amazing. His name's Ali as well. Look, I'm just slightly concerned that you're not getting the gist of what we're trying to do here. We need to be giving as big a middle finger to the people that are making our money as we possibly can. I just think that if we are making all this money, then we should be reinvesting some of that in helping out the smaller guys, the content creators that are putting a lot of their time and effort and hard work into activities that are in turn making us all that money. Okay, Ali, you're still not getting it, okay? We are the big guy. We don't care about the small guy. As long as we are making profits, that's all we care about. Okay? We are the big guy, this is what we do, and there is nobody that is ever going to be able to stop us. Not so fast, Mr. Googlefinger. Ah, Mr. Bond. However did you find the location of our secret base? I just typed it into Google. Ah. Yeah, you're on Street View. Yes. Well, we have been expecting you, Mr. Bond. Well, no, we weren't. Otherwise you wouldn't have asked him how he found us. Silence, number 4. I'm not going to tell you again. But how do you propose to get away, Mr. Bond? There are 4 of us and 1 of you. Yeah, but how are all 4 of you going to attack me at the same time? What are you talking about? Yeah, what are you talking about? Look, it doesn't matter. Look, Mr. Bond, your reputation precedes you, so I don't suppose a bribe would be out of the question. Why not join us? Well, if I'm going to join you, at least tell me what your plans are. Oh, we're brainstorming ways to screw over YouTubers and content creators. YouTube content creators? You mean the people that pirate my films after I risk my life saving the world? Yeah, well actually technically they're a very small minority of the people we're trying to screw over, but yeah, you get the idea. Okay, I'm in. Now you might say, this is all very well, Alisdair, but what's it got to do with you? Well, For one thing, I think it's a good idea if this argument does not come from somebody that is a YouTube partner. I have the freedom to say what I like. And it also lends the argument a greater deal of credibility when it is not coming from somebody that has a financial axe to grind. I do not have a dog in the fight, but I am a YouTube stakeholder, because I'm fairly new to making videos and uploading them to YouTube, but I've been subscribing to other channels for a lot longer, and recently I've seen them come in for a great deal of criticism, either because they are launching Patreon accounts where people do pay for the videos that they are making, or they are launching books which they might not even have actually written, they might be ghostwritten. And I can see why they are getting criticism for that. But the flip side of the coin is they are doing these things because they are not making enough money. Now, it's all very well to say the ones at the top of the chain are making plenty money and living very comfortably, and that might be true. But they have to, because they do not know when the gravy train is going to pull into the station. They don't know when YouTube will cease to become profitable, so they do have to cash in while the going is good and make the money while they can. I, for example, could make better videos if I had better equipment and more time on my hands. And I have some appreciation for the amount of effort it takes to make a good quality video. That 7-minute sketch that you saw earlier took more than an entire morning to film. And that was just the filming. That does not include the hours of editing that followed that. Now, to increase the quality of that would take even longer. It's time I don't have, but it is time the other YouTubers are spending on it. And I think they do deserve to be rewarded for it. So those are some of my issues with YouTube, but it doesn't explain why my last video only got uploaded to Facebook and not to YouTube. Was it some kind of protest against YouTube, against Google? No. It was simply the case that I couldn't do it. I've uploaded 3 videos to my channel before that, and it was virtually without issue. The video editing software I use can actually tie into Google and YouTube and upload it without me having to bother too much about it. I just ask my video editing software to do it, and it manages it in about 20 to 30 minutes, which is not bad when you consider the vast amount of information that is getting uploaded to YouTube every second. And that is the excuse they use for slow loading times. So 20 to 30 minutes I can accept. However, on this occasion, the last video I made, my video editing software told me that it couldn't do it. And the reason it gave was that my Google account is not linked to a YouTube account. And I'm like, of course it is. It has been the last 3 times, nothing's changed, but something had changed with the coding somewhere, and my editing software could not see it, could not figure out how to proceed, and therefore couldn't do it. So then I had to produce the movie in some other file format that I could upload to YouTube directly. But then that wasn't going to take 20 to 30 minutes to upload, that was going to take over 30 hours. Now, that is not acceptable on any level. I know YouTube has this issue with so much hours of stuff being uploaded per second, but it's still not acceptable. Especially when that video was supposed to go up on the Thursday night, it contained a prediction about a football match on the Saturday. And had that prediction been correct, by the time it actually got onto YouTube, people would have looked at it and said, you uploaded that after the match was over. Some prediction that is. When in fact it should have gone on Thursday night. So I ended up uploading it just to Facebook on the Saturday morning. Because I persevered with the uploading to YouTube, I left my laptop running for well over 30 hours just so that it could upload that to YouTube. And when it was done doing that on the Saturday morning, it then decided it was going to take just as long to actually produce the movie before anybody could see it. So that is the latest in a long line of gripes I have with Google. And I thought it deserved a video venting my spleen about it, as I say. Now, hopefully, that will be the end of the problems. Hopefully you will actually be able to watch this video on YouTube if you so desire, and hopefully Google will not come after me. I mean, I hope that I said enough nice things about them to stop them just cutting me off in the middle of this